So when the Buddha got enlightened, we have all these beautiful statues of the Buddha and the claims of what it is to be perfected. But imagine even nowadays when you travel through India and you see all these sadhus, and imagine um, before the Buddha actually came to sit under the tree, he was in some caves for some time that are near the tree, near Bodh Gaya, actually, in India. And he almost starved himself to death. So, and he didn't take a bath. He probably didn't shave his head at that time. There was probably nothing nearby. So the sight of the Buddha might have been a bit different to after his enlightenment to what we all imagine nowadays. There's always this great projection that comes with those beings, and then oftentimes also just a really false perception, both of what it means to be awake, um, as well as that difference. Anyways, so what he came into contact with, what he was awakening to, what he realized himself to be, was pure consciousness. To be pure consciousness. And you are pure consciousness, pure awareness. You just don't know it yet. But you are already that. It's just not clear to you. You haven't found that. You haven't found that experientially. You haven't awakened to that. And what comes with it, because you're coming into contact with what is changeless in you, what is fulfilled in you, what is already still. And so as you come to know yourself, your true self again, those distinct, this distinct perfume, as it is sometimes called, but these distinct markers, maybe, of consciousness, of being awake to it, start to also be more part of your expression then. You are more still because you are abiding as stillness. And so there was this Brahmin who saw the Buddha after his enlightenment and could tell that something is extremely different about this being. But it's just a lot of it is really lost in translation because from the personal stance, there is just also oftentimes no, you cannot even fathom how it is to be without the self, like to be without this continuous self-conscious thinking entity how that is. And the only way how we are brought up, how we are all trained, or how we are all conditioned to actually connect to one another, even, is by upholding a sense and an idea of separation. It's all I know. It's all I see. And so you must be a person. I must be able to put you into a box that I somehow define. Self-realization is the great unboxing. You're stepping out of those boxes that you have previously taken yourself to be. And you are no longer putting people into those boxes. And you also see the adharma actually in it. This continuous boxing. I want to find a box for you. But the box that I'm trying to continuously press this world and everyone in it uh, depends on what I perceive, what I think this world is, what I think you are. What I think I can name you and define you with. And then it becomes very, very scary for a lot of egos if there is no definition. If I cannot continuously put a new name to you, a new definition to you. If it is just universal consciousness expressing itself spontaneously at each moment. This is what you are. This is what you can realize yourself to be. And no longer this uptight construct. And to even see this, how much we have learned to see this world through concepts. It's our only reference. And how scary it is to actually come to know that what we are, each one of you, is non-conceptual, is boundless, is infinite. And as we say in German, Gott bewahre, be very careful to actually stand for the truth, to tell people that they are universal consciousness, that they are infinite intelligence, to know like how how it ended for Jesus, to remind people that they are the sons and daughters of God, to remind people that they are universal consciousness. The ego doesn't want to hear this at all, that you are the divine. Doesn't want it. On some level, it thinks it wants it, but only as long as I can still cling to my ego construct, as long as this is somehow intact, as long as I don't have to give that up, all what I have invested myself in, all my beliefs, all my thoughts of myself, you have to empty this out. You will have to empty your cup. You will have to empty your own construct, your own perception of what you think you are, to actually come into knowing. And how the ego then has to attack. It has to attack what it doesn't know. Unless you are really mature and you can say, I don't know. I am open to find out. I don't have to attack what I don't understand and what challenges my own identity construct, my own sense of self. I'm actually open for it. I'm open to continuously empty myself, no matter what I have learned, no matter what I've read, no matter what I think I am, no matter what tradition I follow. I am allowing to just be curious, like a child. I don't know. I'm here to find out. And not to continuously evaluate what you are now even listening to by what you have learned, what you have ingested, what you think right now you are. But more just listening, being silent, being still, allowing this to unfold by itself from silence, from stillness. So when this Brahmin saw the Buddha being very different somehow, but not really knowing what it is, what is this actually? He asked the Buddha, are you a deva, like a god? And the Buddha said, no. Are you a celestial musician? Then maybe. Something seemed really auspicious. And the Buddha said, no. Are you maybe a nature spirit? And the Buddha said, no. Are you a human being? And the Buddha said, no. And then the Brahmin said to him, what are you then? And the Buddha replied, like a lotus leaf is not affected by the water, or the lotus being affected by the water, I am not affected by this world. And then he famously said, what are you then? And he said, Buddhosmi. It means I am awake. Awake to my true nature as consciousness. And again, this fundamental understanding that there is matter, that there is prakriti, that there is the world of appearances, and that there is consciousness, and that you are consciousness, not just as a thought, not just as something that is somehow external and swirling around in the universe as this beautiful word. I am consciousness. I am the supreme. I am. But as the factual truth that each one can awaken to, can come to know themselves again. can realize themselves as. And this fundamental distinction between your nature, what you are, and your expression is what you want to find out. Not find out in your mind. You will not find it. Find out in your own discovery. Search for it. Find it. Come from finding. Have your questions come up from your own finding, actually. Not from what you conceptually think about self-realization, conceptually think about consciousness, but what are you finding? What is it that you find as you abide as awareness? And Patanjali says, both the cause for all of our suffering, as well as what needs to be avoided. Hetu heya. Both cause and what needs to be avoided is this intense union between consciousness, the seer, and what is perceivable. And that's the next step that is really helpful to understand, is actually if I ask you, what is matter? Now, the most common answer comes from what we usually define matter as, which is what we learn in school. But Patanjali doesn't seek to value and evaluate and measure matter. He says matter is drishyam. What is drishyam? Drishyam is what is perceivable, appearances. So what you can come to know is you are nothing that can be perceived. And even to reflect, to take a moment to reflect on that, because it will actually prompt you deeper. Everything that you can perceive about yourself is an expression of consciousness, but it isn't you. All that is perceivable isn't you. So your body is perceivable. Is that then you? Your thoughts are perceivable. Is that then you? Your emotions are perceivable. Is that then you? The sensations you feel are perceivable. Is that then you? And the answer obviously is no, it isn't you. So anything that is perceivable is prakriti, is matter, is the realm of appearances. And we all have become completely identified with what each of us perceives. You perceive your body from usually not from birth, but a little later. You perceive your body your whole life. So automatically you think that is what you are. You perceive thoughts, you perceive emotions. So automatically you think that this is what you are. It isn't what you are. What you are is that which is aware of all of that. And even this small little thing can be a huge prompting. So if there are all these perceptions, the sight of other people, the world, my body, the feelings of my emotions, and there is something that is aware of it. Can I actually be what is perceived? No. You already see there is something that is aware of all of what is perceivable and all of what is perceivable. So there is a differentiation between what is aware and what is perceived. The seer or the seeing, I call it in my courses, and the world of appearances. What is perceived? And adharma, the cause of suffering, what causes ignorance, what is the fundamental reason that we don't know, is because what we perceive becomes what we think we are. And not enough people are holding up their little torches for your existential truth, for the truth of what you are. And I'm very aware that many of the people who watch my Yogasutra commentary are actually teachers. They are teachers either already now, teachers for a very long time, or meant to be teaching. And so for all of you, I hope you not just understand that, but really find this, realize this, recognize this, come into knowing, wake up, awaken to your true nature, not only as a thought. Oh, I know I'm pure awareness. Know it. Realize it. It's already what you are. It's just that you need to start believing. Believing you are, knowing, hey, I am consciousness, I am awareness. And not stopping until you find. Committing yourself to this finding. Committing yourself to awakening, true awakening actually. And the Yoga Sutra that I wanted to talk about talks about this great range of matter, of what is perceivable actually. And it also offers a deconstruction of matter. It doesn't come from how matter actually comes into contact with consciousness, but it starts at a very specific vishesha, very specific matter. It means how objects become really, really specific for you in your identification process usually. So you see all these different dogs, for example, and none of them is your dog. You could just see them as unspecific, a dog. But if it's your dog, then there is a lot of identification with it. You will see it in a certain manner. There's a lot of emotional value coming with it. And how much we continuously, actually, our whole universe is this: I see something, something is perceived, and I attest a distinct meaning to it. And the meaning has to do always with ourselves. You're listening to this talk. You're instantly trying to find actually how it actually fits into what you have learned so far, what you know, what you have experienced, what you have realized. As an instant, everything we perceive is continuously evaluated from this I sense. If you look at objects, this is like one advice from me for your next meditation. One really great meditation that you can do is to look at objects in your room or in wherever you are that have absolutely no relationship or meaning for you that is other than the object and its meaning itself. For example, an electrical socket. Usually, you don't really have a relationship to an electrical socket. There aren't many thoughts you have around it. Or something really boring, like the window glass. If you can manage not to look whether the window glass is dirty or not, but you can just notice these distinct objects very quickly in your room: a door handle, an electrical socket, a keypad, something like this that doesn't have much, that isn't charged, that doesn't hold so much meaning. You will see how the mind relaxes. You will see there's an instant relaxation because you are not seeing objects as these specific things that hold such meaning for you. And you also come to see again how these filters actually come, how these filters work, all the filters we have, and all how we continuously make it around about us, my world, these objects in distinct relationship. And this sutta actually prompts the opposite. It shows you these different stages of matter, how matter becomes really specific to us. Now, I'm not saying that by giving a distinct meaning to an object, it doesn't also offer value or offer beauty, of a distinct importance for you and your life, and that this giving of meaning isn't an essential part of what can make life really beautiful. But what I'm saying is to come into contact, to come into knowing with how we give meaning to objects, what happens actually in this identification process, and how objects are just objects until you give meaning to them. And also, so there he talks about specific objects. Objects get a very specific meaning. I give them a specific meaning. And before that, it was just an object. Like I have a favorite pen, for example. There are people who collect pens. I have a favorite pen. It can also just be a pen. But if it's a collector that collects pens, then the pen, each pen is from a different country or from a different brand, from a different label, has a different meaning for you. It becomes a very specific object then. But what is less charged is always, if it is not as distinct, if you're not giving so much meaning to it. And that's also the process of stepping yourself back from this total identification with objects. And I live in that, and I believe myself to be this, to starting to see, wow, all these objects I give actually meaning to. They can also just lose some of this charge that they have as soon as I let them be just this object without this specific meaning that I give it. I let go of that. And then the next step is to see that perceivable are also is what can become conscious for you, what can become perceived. It's very, very subtle. You go into very, very subtle layers of the mind, actually, of what is potentially observable for a distinct person. It's more like the seed level. Because also, look at the world of what is perceivable. You are watching Yogasutras. You are watching this that talks about self-realization, that talks about something also very specific. Now this, I can tell you, is not interesting for everyone. There's so much else in this world that can be perceived instead of watching this Yoga Sutra. You can look at many other things. So not everything that is perceivable is even interesting for everyone. And then there are seeds, stuff that can become perceivable for people or not. And then also stepping yourself further back, a more unmanifest level of what is potentially perceivable at some point. To see this, that like this sutra actually talks about how the world of form, the world of what is perceivable, becomes more and more distinct for you. And at the same time, how when you step yourself back into awareness, how this world of form becomes less and less distinct or distinctly grasping until you're actually abiding as awareness, and you can see from that space all that is arising having the same value, not one more grasping than the other, all having the same value for you, all being simply appearances, all recognized as appearances. And with that, this also actually, a lot of it can lose its distinct meaning that holds so much charge for you. To notice that's also an appearance. To notice your emotion are also an appearance. To notice your thoughts are also appearances. To come from this space, to see from the spacious awareness of what you are, and to also see this, how appearances can have the same value, something also that isn't imaginable for the person, but true for your God self, for that impersonal, neutral essence of yours. All these things, please bear in mind, is also a warning. Don't try from the personal stance. Abide as awareness and see from that. And continuously, this sutta reminds you, whatever comes up, like a lot of people that are firmly committed to this path of realizing their true self, everything that arises, so you get beaten up, you don't feel you actually got it, all these kind of things, are they not also perceivable? Isn't there something deeper here that is also observing those sentiments, ideas, self-evaluations about how good you are on this path, how bad you are doing on this path? Isn't there something deeper here that is also aware of all of that? And so if you know this is also perceivable, no matter how subtle it actually is, which is also what this sutra points to, everything that is perceivable, that includes the mind, is not who you are. And always to step yourself further back and ask yourself, what is aware of everything that is perceivable? And when you become aware of that which is aware of what is perceivable, then you are becoming aware of the most fundamental essence of yours, and also of the space of I am. What are you when all attributes, all characteristics, I am this and that, I am not happy with my progress of spiritual awakening. When all of what is put after I am gets annihilated, you rest in the purity of I am. That purity is the single most thing you can then say about yourself. that is actually factually true. You exist. I exist. I am. And that is what you can find. And all these ways in the Yogasutra, they are so helpful. Trust me, on your spiritual awakening journey. They are just so helpful because he provides this extensive map for you. And everything that can happen to you on this true awakening journey, the falling away of the self, kind of union states that you encounter, it's all explained in this book. It's all actually commented on. Plus, like any good teacher, he gives all these different pointers, just different ways how you can understand it, different ways that might help you at a point of time, like knowing, okay, everything that's perceivable, that's pretty intense. Everything I perceive, everything I think is not me. What is it that is deeper than that, what is perceived? And simply aware of it, conscious of it. And then you're landing actually in consciousness, in awareness, in the seeing. Try this meditation, looking at objects that have absolutely no meaning for you very quickly, like the socket, the floor, the ceiling, and see how your mind, even your mind, instantly relaxes because there's no meaning given apart from naming this, not what all else comes up. And I hope that all these pointers, that some of it actually is helpful for you right now. Namaste.